Hello everybody, it's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you these beautiful crochet tutorials. Today is the Mosaic moss stitch. It is, it's like a spike stitch, and what I made out of my first one was a pot holder. It's a beautiful stitch. You can make this for blankets, but just so you know, it is a one-sided pattern, and when you make this, you're always starting on the same side, the front side. So a lot of your tails, well, not your tails are on this side, but you have your beginning tails, but for some reason, when you weave in your tails on the back, it makes the project feel a tiny bit thicker on the one side, which would be my left. I'm right-handed. But this is, it's a beautiful stitch, and to make it very noticeable, I changed colors each row. I had a few different colors and I rotated them. And I just did a nice easy border, just something different to just edge up my pot holder nicely. So let me show you how to do this. It's actually, once you understand the pattern, it goes really quick. You just need a little bit of a setup to get started, and then it's all good. So I am using all cotton yarn because a pot holder should use cotton yarn, but if you're making a blanket, obviously you can use your acrylic yarn. I am using a 5mm hook. I would recommend to go up like maybe a half a size for this. All right. Now to start, all you need to start with this pattern is an odd number. So you can make it as long as you want. We just need you to do an odd number. I'm going to be doing a small sample, so I'm not going to do a real big one. 2, 3. Let me get a light on so I can see a little better. There we go. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and let's do 19 for May. Okay, so now second chain from the hook. I'm going to do the back loops, but you don't have to. You can do just the second chain from the hook if you want. We're just going to single crochet straight across, one in each one. Nothing fancy for this. Like I said, we need setup rows. So since you started with an odd number, and then you started single crocheting across, you will now end up with an even number. This is such a beautiful little pattern. It does have a few quirks. Like I said, a little bit of the thickness on the left side for weaving in all your tails. But if you're making a pot holder with this, or even a dishcloth, dish rag, that's not going to interfere with this project. And when you get down to the end, you can actually pull up your tails if you want and then crochet over them. I tried that. I wasn't my issue is I want to make sure it's weaved in well. That way when it's washed and used over and over, I'm not going to be sitting here worrying if my project's going to come undone. So this project can have a bunch of tails. That can actually be a little frustrating, but it's all how you look at a project. Every project has its own positives and negatives. So after you reach the end, you just chain one and you cut off a tail, because we're always going to start on this side. All right. So now you go in to your first stitch on the right side, and I'm still using the same color yarn. You attach, you're going through the full stitch, you attach your yarn, you chain one, and you do a full single crochet in that stitch. And on this side I am crocheting over my tail, so I don't have to worry about this side of tail weaving in. So now we're going to do single crochets all the way across, but just the back loop only. We're not going to crochet into the full stitch. We're just doing back loop only. You need those front loops exposed. But remember, in the very first stitch, we went through the entire stitch. The stitches after that is back loop only. Again, for the exception of your very last stitch, you will go through, I'm still fighting a cold, you will go through the full stitch. So the first stitch and the last stitch, you will always, on each row, you will always go through the entire stitch. But this part you're doing back loop only, basically in the middle of the project. Okay, now my last stitch, like I said, you'll go through the entire stitch. Okay, then chain one, and you cut that off. So now I'm going to show you the repeating pattern for this. And I'm just going to change the color, purple. Now we go through the first stitch, and remember, again, forever through this project, you will go through the entire first stitch, the front and the back loop. Go through, and chain one, and then in that same stitch you do a full single crochet. All right. Now we're going to start, see that front loop in the very next stitch? You know how we just did the back loops only? That will leave you these front loops from 2 rows down that we didn't use. We're going to be playing in them in every other stitch. All right, so we're going to be doing a double crochet. We're going to take our hook, we're going to go through that very front stitch right there. We're going to wrap, and we're going to do a double crochet. Okay. And the next stitch, back loop only, just do a single crochet. Next loop, 2 rows down, we're going to go through that front loop, 2 rows down, and do a double crochet. In the next stitch, back loop only, single crochet. Next stitch, go down our front loop and do a double crochet. next stitch, single crochet, back loop only. Next stitch, I'm going to go down. This is called like a spike stitch. I'm going that front loop that we skipped from 2 rows down, and do a double crochet. Next stitch, back loop only, single crochet. You're going to do this all the way down the row, except for your very, very last stitch. Can you guess what you do in that stitch? Yep, a full single crochet. And this is so pretty. And when you change colors each row, it really makes it pop. Back loop only, single crochet. Your last stitch, it's a full single crochet in both parts of the chain. And then you chain 1 and you cut off. Are you starting to see where the ends are on that? This was a tail I weaved over as I was crocheting. So now the next row, you do the same thing. Go into that first full stitch, you grab your next color, whatever you choose. Do a chain 1, and then you do a full single crochet in there. All right. Now, since our next stitch would be the spike stitch, we're going to just do a single crochet in the back loop. So it rotates. The next stitch, see this stitch, this front loop that we missed? We're going to go in that row up from where we did the previous row and grab that. There we go. Grab that, and you do your double crochet. Next stitch was your previous double crochet, so this one you just do a single crochet, back loop only. The next one is right there. Isn't that pretty? All right, the next one is your double crochet, so you just do back loop only, single crochet. Next one is your single crochet, so you do your double spike stitch. Next one, back loop only, and this is all you do. This is the repeating pattern of doing it. So it's rotating. So when you're on the row, if you're on the single crochet, you do the double crochet spike stitch. If you're on the double crochet spike stitch, you do a single crochet, back loop only. And you do that, and you just keep working from the front, row to row to row to row, row and row, okay? That is the pattern completely, up until you want to stop, okay? And then on the last row, if you want to stop, I would recommend, it's not a have to. I just did a regular row of full single crochets on the very last row to even it out from bottom to top, all right? Now, for my pattern for my edging, just want to show you what I did for that. I'll show you. So all I did, very easy. For my edging, I just started with a single crochet. I chain 1. In the next stitch, I just did a slip stitch. Chain 1. Next stitch, slip stitch, chain 1, next stitch, slip stitch, chain 1, next stitch, slip stitch. It's a very, very cute border. It actually makes this, it looks like a zigzag pattern. So it's a slip stitch, slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch, chain 1, slip, that's all it is. And it makes for a nice weavy edging. But like I said, talking about this pattern, it is definitely, like I blocked this and it's still not perfect. You can really see the thickness. So be very aware of that when you make this. So if you're making a project with this pattern, you are going to feel a thickness on the one side of it. But that is how you do the mosaic moss stitch pattern. All right, thank you for watching this video. My name is Ronnie. I work with Maggie and Lauren. We are Whip and Chain, and here at Whip and Chain, it's always a work in progress. Until our next video, guys, happy crocheting. Please come join us on Facebook with Whip and Chain. We have a very strong community there, and we're all there to help. Until our next video, happy crocheting, everybody. Bye-bye.